Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be solving Cambridge AS Level Information Technology Paper 2 Practical for October-November 2024. You have been supplied with the following source files. You must use the most efficient methods to solve each task. So I have the files here. These are the required files. You work for a jewelry and will develop a spreadsheet to calculate the cost of making necklace chains. Make sure that all currency values must be dollars to 2 decimal place and all weight should be 3 decimal place. Open and examine the file n24 chain.csv. So this is the required file chain.csv. The values in cells T3 to V3 are changed frequently. So here you can see the values from T3 to V3. This will be changed frequently. Merge the cells A1 to R1, A17 to R17 and A30 to R30. So A1 to R1 should be merged. A17 to R17 and also A30 to R30. All these should be merged. Format each of these merged cells so that they contain a black 16-point bold central line sans serif font on a yellow background. So background is yellow, font color is black, it is bold, 16 point and sans serif. You can set it as Arial. So this is the required format. Now the same formatting should be given for A17 and also A30. So you can use the format painter. We'll select this cell, double click on format painter, click on the cells which needs to be formatted in the same way. So the formatting is copied. Merge cells T1 to V1 and T17 to V17. T1 to V1 and T17 to V17. Format each of these cells so that they contain black 12-point bold central line sans serif font on a yellow background. So it's the same formatting, only font size is 12 point. Again, you can copy the same formatting for these two. It should be changed to 12. So that's done. Format rows 2, 3, 4 and 18 to look like this. So you can see the formatting here. Let's resize the column C and S to look like this. You need to resize this. C and S must be resized this way. All these are bold, center aligned, and with a gray shading. This one is background is black, white font, bold and center aligned. Now you can copy the formatting of this any one cell, and you can set it to all other cells. All the formatting are done. Now we need to set the weight to 3 decimal place, and all this cost must be dollar to 2 decimal place. All of these values will be 3 decimal place, right click, format cells, number, 3 decimal place. This one will be currency. You can select dollar from here and 2 decimal place. Change the worksheet name to something more appropriate. Save your workbook as spreadsheet with the file name N24 chain 1 followed by your center number and candidate number. So let's name it as cost calculation and save as. Chain 1 followed by your center number, candidate number. Should be saved as an Excel workbook. Place in cell E18 a replicable formula to convert the weight in ounces held in cell E5 into grams. The information in columns T, U, and V will help you. So in cell E18, you have to enter a formula to convert this weight of metal. The weight of metal in ounces are given here. You have to convert this into grams. So here already they have given 1 ounce equal to 28.35 grams. So you just need to multiply each value by this one. So equal to this value E5 multiplied by this value 28, and this value needs to be constant or absolute. So make sure this is absolute, select it and make it absolute. Now you can replicate it and replicate it this way. So that's done. Place in cell E31 a replicable formula to calculate the cost of the metal used to make each chain. The cost of the metal is the weight of the metal multiplied by the cost per ounce for that type of metal. So cost per ounce is given here. If it is silver, this is the value. If it's gold, this is the value. So we need to use a lookup formula, and we need to look up the cost from this table and multiply by each value given in ounce. So equal to look up the value. This is a horizontal table, so we have to use HLOOKUP. HLOOKUP, the lookup value will be the type of the metal. So E2, the table array will be this table. Make sure it is absolute since we'll be replicating the formula. Row index is 2 and range lookup is 0 for the exact match. Give OK. And this should be multiplied by the value in ounce. So this is the weight in ounce. So it should be multiplied by this value. Now we need to replicate this, but before replicating, the lookup value will change for each column. So you can see the columns will change, the row will remain constant. The next one, we have to use this as the lookup value. That means it should be F2. For the next one, it should be G2. So you can see the column will change, the row will remain constant. So we need to make only the row absolute. So before 2, you have to put a $sign. Since the columns have to change, we have to leave it like this. Now you can replicate this way, then replicate it down. That's done. Place formulas in appropriate cells in column B to calculate the length of each chain rounded down to the nearest centimeter. 1 inch equal to 2.54 centimeter. So the length of each chain is given here. This is the length in inches. You have to calculate in centimeters. So for that, we have to multiply this value by 2.54, which is given. And it should be rounded down to the nearest value. So you have to use a round down formula. Round down. So this value should be rounded down to the nearest number. So comma 0. Close the bracket. You can replicate it. After replication, you can just copy this formula, paste it here. Place in cell E4 a formula that does not use the concatenate function to extract the first character from cell E2 and concatenate it with the style of this item. So we have to extract the first character from this, then concatenate it with the style. Style means this C1, C2, C3, etc. We cannot use the concatenate function, so we can use the and symbol instead. So equal to, first let's use left function to extract the first character. Left, this is the text, and we need one character. Give OK. And is equivalent to concatenate and the style. So this is the style. So we got the code here. Now you can replicate it this way for all the metals. Apply appropriate formatting to the cells containing numeric values. So it is already given The currency values should be 2 decimal place dollar, and all weight values must be 3 decimal place. So we have already set it here. You can just copy the formatting. And this one should be dollar with 2 decimal place. So that is done. Save your workbook. Next, add a new worksheet called user interface to your workbook. Add a new worksheet, user interface. In the user interface worksheet, enter the text shown and format it to look like this. So I have copied all the text here. This A and B should be merged. It should be yellow color. Same formatting as we gave in the workbook. For this text, you can give text wrap so that it comes on 2 lines. Make it center aligned and italic as shown here. All the other text are right aligned. So the text is ready. In cells B4 and B5, create drop-down menus to select the chain code and length. You need to make sure this is partly hidden. So you can give the border. Now in cells B4 and B5, create drop-down menus to select chain code and length. So to create this should be user interface. So to create the drop-down menu, we can use data validation, chain code, go to data validation. You can select list and in the source you can select the code from here. So this is the chain codes. You can select this row. Okay. So you can see there is a drop down list here. Now for the length in centimeters, again data validation, select list. The source should be the length in centimeters given here. Okay. So you'll get a drop down list here for the length in centimeters. In cell B7, use a function to look up the type of metal selected using the chain code. So here will be when we enter any chain code, for example SC1, the metal selected should be displayed here. So we can do that from this table. This is the table. So using the code we have to do. So we cannot use VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP here because the code comes after the name of the metal. So we can use XLOOKUP here, equal to XLOOKUP. Lookup value will be the chain code. Lookup array will be the column in which the chain code appears. So the chain code comes in this row, column or row. So this row. Then the return array will be the row from where we need the answer. So click on this and then you can select the metal names row here. These two are optional, so these three values are only needed. You can give OK here. So now silver is shown. So when you change any other value, automatically the metal selected will be shown here. In cell B8, use index and match functions to display the weight of the metal in grams for the selected chain code and length in centimeters. So once we enter the chain code and length, according to this, the weight of metal in grams must be displayed here. So the weight of metal in grams is in this table and it will be the intersection of the metal code. The code is given here and the length of the chain. So that is length is given as row in the rows and the code is given in the columns. So we have to use an index match function equal to index okay. So array is the table from which we need the value. So this is the array, weight of the metal in grams. So this is the array. Now row number is the row number of the length we have selected. So this is the length. So row number of the length the user has selected. So we have to use a match function to find the row number where this length comes. So you can use match. The match format is lookup value, lookup array, and then index that will be 0. Sorry, lookup range that will be 0. So here lookup value is the length which we have entered here, comma, the position of this or the row number of this value in this row. So you can select this row here, comma 0 for the exact match. So we got the row number. Now the column number will be the column number of the metal code we have entered. So again, we'll use a match function. Match, the lookup value will be the code, comma, the lookup array, that is the row or column where the lookup value appears. So this is the row, comma, 0 for the exact match. Okay. So you can see for SC3 with length 38, let's see the value. This is SC3 with length 38. So 33.488. So this is the value. We can just convert it into 3 decimal place. So we are getting the correct value here. Next, in cell B9, use index and match functions to display the cost of the metal for the codes and lengths selected from the drop-down menus. So same way you have to find the cost also. So you can use the same formula. I'll copy this. Here we need the cost. So the array will be from here. This is the cost. And then everything, the row and column is for the chain code and length. So only this array we have to change here. So you can check the cost for SC3 38. SC3 is the third column. For 38, the cost is 20.83. So you can see the cost here. Let's convert this into dollar two decimal place. So this is the value. Let's make all of this center line so that it looks. So apply appropriate formatting to column B of this worksheet. So we have applied all the numeric formatting and we have made it center line so that it is looking fine. Create a new word process document. Save this document in rich text format with a file name and 24 evidence. So let's open a new Word document. Save as. Inside your folder, the name is N24 evidence, followed by your center number, candidate number, and it should be rich text format. So save as RTF. Save. Model this spreadsheet, placing screenshot of both the data entered and the results in your evidence document. Use the following data. So first we have to model it with SE3 and the length is 63 centimeter. SC3 and the length should be 63. So this is the required value. So let's take the screenshot. This is step 4. Step 4 evidence. Paste it here. Now GC2 and 50 centimeter. So let's change the value. GC2 and 50 centimeter. So this is the required value. Now let's take the screenshot again. Change the price of gold to $1,900 per ounce. Model the spreadsheet with a chain code of GC2. Sorry, this is step 14 evidence. Step 14. Change the price of gold to 1900. So the price of gold, here we have this value. Let's change it to 1900. After that, model the spreadsheet with a chain code of GC2 and length 50 centimeter. We have already entered GC2 and 50 and the values have automatically changed here. So you can take the screenshot now. So this is step 15 evidence. Make sure that this row 2, these are merged like this. I had forgotten to do that before. So before taking the screenshot, this should be merged. So we are done with the spreadsheet task. The next one is sound editing. It will be done in another video. Thank you for now.